Webbed up with the truth. Yeah, the Molt's on deck. Knowledge web spun when the facts connect. Crawling through the dark where the secrets collect. Chat spiders on the mic, what did you expect? The Molt, the Molt, welcome to the Molt. 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 The Molt, 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 welcome to the Molt. The Molt, the Molt, the Molt, welcome to the Molt. 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 The Molt, the Molt, welcome to the Molt.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to tonight's episode. So tonight we actually have Nicole, and on Instagram, she's actually Nicole from the Forest. So everyone welcome her. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, guys. Hi, Jess. Hope you're doing good.
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you, too. Literally, haven't seen you, in person since Animal Con, so this is wild.
I know. I just posted a video from AnimCon yesterday, and you're actually in it. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I want to go
check that out. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm like, I want to go back already.
I know, for real. I'm counting down the days. I'm waiting.
I know. It's so exciting. So, Nicole, I wanted to bring you on because we had a great connection when we went to Animal Con. You obviously love pets the same way I do. So tell us a little bit about yourself, work, all that.
Yeah, so right now I'm working at a vet in, it's pretty close to campus. I'm going to school right now as well. So working full-time, school full-time. The vet is an emergency vet. I love it. I love being able to help animals and work with them in a different sense that isn't necessarily just husbandry. It's not as much exotics, but it's really cool, and it just makes me feel a little bit more well-rounded when it comes to my knowledge on animals in general, because I'm getting to see the medical side of things as well as the things I'm doing at home, taking care of my pets. I do get to volunteer and work with other exotics regularly, so it's just, I don't know, I love the job. As for schooling, right now I go to NHTI, and I'm pursuing a associates in biology, so that ties into everything really, really nicely, and I'm just, I don't know, super excited for what the future holds.
Oh, that's so exciting. I love seeing all of your posts. So,
thank you.
The posts with the exotic pets. I know that you work with Nerd.
Yes.
So it's kind of neat that you get to go ahead and take those pictures and deal with those animals and handle them all. What's your experience like there?
It's everything. It's everything. So Nerd is separated out into two portions. There's the pet store itself, which is downstairs, Zoo Creatures, and then there's the upstairs portion, which is New England Reptile Distributors. And the pet store is a lot of the smaller, more niche stuff that I kind of enjoy. Not that I don't enjoy what's upstairs at Nerd, but I love stuff like dart frogs, chameleons, a lot of the smaller, just more, like I said, niche stuff we have downstairs. Upstairs is a lot of the giant stuff. So our big reticulated pythons, Asian water monitors, Boland's pythons. So, it's really what you're into, where you want to be. But that's a huge source of my content. I love being able to help out there. That's where I do a lot of my volunteering too. So it's good to be able to, while I'm working at the vet, working with mostly dogs and cats, still help out and work with the exotics as well.
Okay, that's awesome. And they do tours as well too, right?
They do. They're private right now, and they announce public ones as they're doing them. It's not so much a set day of the week anymore, but those are available on their Instagram if anybody is interested. And they're in Plastown, New Hampshire.
Oh, that's so awesome. I know. I've seen posts and I'm like, that would be such a cool thing to check out. That was
absolutely,
because I don't feel like you get to see stuff like that where it's open to the public. You don't get to see your everyday niche animals when you go to the reptile stores. This is something a little bit at a different caliber. So it's really, really nice. So that's
exactly.
Awesome.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We're talking.
I was going to say, no, people love to do that. The place I find is It's almost a zoo. Like it's all families coming in, little kids. A lot of the cages are like a foot off the ground, so they're perfect for like a small child to look into. And it's just amazing getting to see little kids be inspired and, excited about these animals too.
Isn't it
And
crazy?
their parents supporting it.
Yeah, no, okay. I actually love that. And I'm glad you said that because now, even at reptile shows, and even like when I work at the reptile house at Chicago Reptile House, I see kids come in with their parents, and I'm like, I remember my generation, like, my parents would never take me to something like this.
Yep. Yep, I definitely had to do a lot of convincing when it came to, I first got into aquatics, but like when it came to getting into reptiles and stuff, that was like just for whatever reason, there was just a line drawn in the sand there, and my parents did not want snakes or inverts or anything like that in the household, which is, you know, they still found their way in, but
You still make it come in.
yeah.
What do you keep?
So right now, as I said, I'm going to school at NHTI. I actually have my bird. I have a lovebird named Boo, who is registered as an emotional support animal, so she's okay to be with me on campus. But I have some other stuff that is, a little more behind the scenes. A lot of inverts right now.
I kind of love
I have a crested gecko who is just so charismatic. I love him dearly. But mostly inverts. I love bugs. That's just been my kick lately.
I love bugs too. You know me, I'm a sucker for it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you say you love bugs. What kind of bugs or tarantulas or anything are you keeping right now too?
Centipedes are definitely where my heart is at right now. I have a Galapagos, and then I also have a Cingulata, who I love. And my collection is definitely it's nothing insane. But two centipedes, bunch of tarantulas of varying sizes. Most of them are still a lot younger, but super cute. I have a Geniculata. I have an Elegans that's probably my favorite. And then I actually have a huntsman egg sac, which I'm rearing up right now. So hopefully that goes well.
Oh, hopefully you have some babies from that.
Yeah, hopefully I'm super excited.
So is it hard with keeping the animals that you keep in like school full time, work full time? Like how do you manage all of that?
It took a little while to figure out for sure. I feel like my first few semesters went pretty smoothly, and then as I started to get into more difficult classes and stuff that just had a little bit more to do with the degree, I had to really be careful with scheduling my time and making sure to prioritize school first, because it's what's most important to me right now is my education. And then after that, obviously work so I can take care of things that need to be taken care of. And then animal care is right up there as well. Um, but it's like I said, it's really just a lot of scheduling. I had to make a lot of Excel sheets so that I knew what I was going to be doing throughout the week. So if anyone wanted to make plans, it was this is what needs to happen first. But if I have time after the fact, sure. So yeah, it was just learning to budget my time and learning how valuable time is, because that's something I feel like I didn't appreciate before I started school. It's like you only have so many hours in the day.
Okay, so you live on campus then, right?
I do, yes.
Do you have a roommate?
No, no,
Okay, because I was like
no.
gonna ask you, how does your roommate feel about the animals?
Yeah, no. She I started out, I had one, like wanted like that college experience kind of thing, and then just I don't know, I'm a very different person, and I feel like my interests didn't vibe with a lot of other people's interests, so I ended up on my own.
I kind of love that. Okay, so with that being said, 'cause obviously, like you're on campus and everything, you probably have visitors. How do you feel people kind of react to your interests in, the not so usual pets you keep?
People are always super interested, and they like want to like see the animals or see the inverts, especially the inverts, and they're just super curious, but then once it's in front of them, that's when they tend to get a little bit nervous. So I'd like to get people to a point, or just friends or anyone that I can, to just not, there's something there, but not be as fearful of them, or at least realize like there's no harm in like a lot of the animals that people typically are afraid of. So it's general reaction is probably like super curious, but then like intimidated in the moment too.
Okay, so you mentioned intimidated. So as women in the hobby, what's it like dating?
Um, l- in regards to what?
Like, so you mentioned intimidation. Do you feel like sometimes when you're dating and because you have all these tarantulas and things like that, do you feel like sometimes it's a little bit intimidating?
Oh, yes. 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 Because I feel like you tend to meet people and they, maybe expect you to be a certain way, and then they find out that your interests don't line up with a lot of other like more typical interests. And I feel like people are either like, I don't know, it's 50-50. People are either like, it's not my thing, but I support that you do it, which is awesome. Or they're just, maybe a little overwhelmed or just like, that's not my thing to the point where it's like, I don't know if, it's hard to explain, but it's definitely like it puts a bump in the road when it comes to meeting people and explaining my hobbies versus theirs.
I can understand that. Yeah, I think it definitely a lot of the girls that I talk to and women I talk to, I think at times we're an intimidating factor to some of the men or women we might be seeing that aren't in the hobby, and they're like, "Whoa, like you like all of these big snakes, you like these tarantulas." Like, a lot of us, even with friends, we get the comment of, "Oh, I'm not coming over. You have that in your house."
All the time. Family members, every family get together. It's like people want to ask, but then just so they can make the comments sometimes, which I find odd, but to each their own.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I get it all the time. And so, like, I have a niece and nephew. And so when I have them come over, my sister's always like a little bit nervous, especially with like the bigger monitors and things like that. Um, but I think it's really nice and it's interesting to see that, they're so curious and they're so like open to it. So they'll like come in and like try to help me feed spiders, things like that.
Yeah,
I've like tried to convince my little niece to sneak in a pet spider into her.
absolutely. Better to ask forgiveness than permission. I will live by that forever.
Yeah. So like I have noticed like even with like family and people coming over, sometimes they get a little bit intimidated by what we have at home.
Absolutely. I've seen that at the pet store too. It's really interesting you bring that up because I feel like younger kids are always super curious and then they don't have that fear starting off, and that fear is taught by parents. I have like a reel that's a little bit older on my Instagram, but it's a little girl. It's me filming a versicolor just walking around on a bin at Zoo Creatures. And the little girl you can hear in the background is so excited and thinks it's just the coolest thing in the world. And you can hear her father as well, and he's a very nice gentleman. But, oh, back up, give it space, give it space. Just super, just, I understand you want to be cautious as a parent, but maybe just like instilling a little bit too much fear. It's just a bug, and they're beautiful, and I feel like they need to be more appreciated.
100%. I mean, I stare at my tarantulas all the time and I'm like, they're so beautiful. And if you take a closer look, you see their little derpy faces,
Yes.
definitely not like a jumping spider, right? It's a little bit different, but they still are very, very cute. And, like now you find people that like ethically source these things after they pass and they like make beautiful art from it. And
Absolutely.
it's gorgeous. I know you always post some art that I love, like for
Yeah,
people. So kind of love that as well.
absolutely. No, I love the merging of the two worlds, the beauty of nature, and then I've always felt, kind of like I was an artsy person as well. I feel like that shows in my enclosures more than anything now. I love setting up like really, really detailed, like probably too intricate, but half the fun for me is setting up the enclosure. So I set up this whole little world, and the tarantula just like disappears into it, and I never see them, but it's fine. Um, but I don't know, just the meshing of things, like just enclosures and like artwork and just all of it. I don't know. I feel like it's all related and kind of tied together, and it's all like very similar people that are into these things.
So we had a question. It says, given that the fear is
Like,
often taught in home, what are your thoughts on how we combat that so kids aren't taught fear at an early age?
um, I feel like it might be maybe uh teaching the parents and teaching generations like above ours how things actually are when it comes to these animals and how they are, and that will then be instilled on their children. But it's so difficult because it's like things that have already been learned to an extent, and then I'm not sure. That's a tougher question for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I've noticed generations before. It's like I said, my generation, I'm a way older generation than you, by the way.
No, you're not.
But my generation, it was still the same thing. Like my childhood, I wasn't really taught about reptiles or anything like that. It was mainly just like going to the zoos and, the few reptiles that they would have available at the time. And I was always like the weirdo kid that would like play with the roly polies outside, the bugs, all of that. And when I
Yep.
would come in and be like, my mom would be like, oh, don't touch that. Your hands are dirty. Or, oh, like, don't know what's on it. So, I mean, I think it is a little bit harder. But like, so me, for example, when I first started my business, um, my mom was kind of like, spiders, like, really? Like, and I'm like, yeah, it's what I love. And I stood very, very firm on it. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'd bring home my animals, and kind of just introduce her and show her the cute little habitats I would make for it, take them out. It would kind of scare her, keep it at a distance. And it's like the same thing for my sister, and my brother-in-law with their kids. Is just taking a little bit of time to like show them my animals and like them seeing my pictures. They follow me on social media, and so they'll see like my pictures, my posts when they come over. I
Yep.
try to always like show the kids. And I think like because the kids are so interested, it kind of forces them and puts them in a space to be like, okay, like I kind of got to be a little bit more open to it.
Exactly.
And now we're seeing more things being done about like bugs and reptiles. So like, for example, like Lucas the jumping spider definitely helped a lot.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so like my niece and nephew know that. And then for example, that new A Bug's Life documentary came out, which was super cool. So kind of just educating them with that. Every chance that I have gotten, I've invited like my niece and nephew and like my family to come out, and they'll come out and support me at local shows.
Absolutely.
And they get to walk around a little. And even though it kind of still scares them, it makes them a little bit more open to learning about these animals. Are like, oh, this might be actually kind of cool. So I kind of think like as we like keep introducing, not necessarily shoving it down anyone's throat, right? Because I never think that's the proper approach.
Yeah.
But kind of just like educating by like showing them the love you have for the animals, posting these beautiful pictures, posting these beautiful videos. It just kind of shows, how beautiful everything is. I had someone message me last night. They were talking about Franklin. He's my monkey tail skinks too. And they're like, I had no idea that like they live in families. And they're like, it's really interesting how like they care so much for their young. And I'm like, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
animals really do have feelings, and it's crazy. They have a ton of empathy. And so I think it's just really about educating how beautiful these animals are. They're different characteristics, like respecting them, but definitely, trying to at least educate the older generation so it's not taught at home, because kids definitely aren't born with fear. It definitely is more instilled in them. And just getting them involved. Like my niece helps me build jumping spider houses. For a little,
Oh,
when I
yeah. Oh
first
my
started
gosh.
business, she would help me build jumping spider gyms, and I would literally pay her if it's sold. So I'm like, your gym
Oh
sold.
my gosh.
So she was like really involved at first. Like I would literally like have her at my booth working it. Like,
Yeah.
so
Oh my God, I love that.
yeah. So I think it's just a little bit about like, kind of showing people a little bit about your world, and it's not as
Absolutely. I think oh, sorry. No, what were you going to say?
it's just not as weird. That's what I was saying.
Oh yeah, no, and I think social media has helped a lot with that too. And like kids being on social media too is like you know, as what am I trying to say? I don't know. Not that kids should be on social media, but I feel like it exposes them to a lot, sometimes in a good way, and them being able to see these different, like you said, these characters, Lucas the Spider, and then these different influencers, and see how passionate people are about these animals, it rubs off on them. And then, like you brought up with family and friends getting to see your content specifically, I feel like it's really hard for people to not acknowledge how much you love something, or like, how much it means to you when they get to see it like that. So I don't know, I feel like social media has definitely been really important and kind of like starting to reverse the way things work and how people think about these animals.
It definitely takes a turn, I'm telling you. Like my mom now, she's still not crazy about the spiders, but she'll always bring me like little knickknacks and stuff, and
Oh yeah, yep.
go to the kids, and like they gift me random things. They're like, oh, you could put it in your spiders enclosure. So like it's just,
Absolutely.
they went from like completely to, it just takes a little bit of time of people seeing your passion and all of that.
Absolutely, and they're contributing in their own way too, so even if it's something that they're not going out and like buying you spiders or anything, they see it's important to you, and they want to be like involved as much as they can be. So
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
dream animal.
Dream animal or dream invert? Dream, like,
Let's go
how
through.
crazy can I go with this?
I mean, as crazy as you can.
I mean, okay, so like realistically, I love a T. Celedonia in the future. I think they're gorgeous, and I don't know. That's always been a goal. And I see them at expos and I'm always just admiring from a distance. Um if I could keep something like stupid, if I just had like unlimited resources and funds, an orca for sure.
I love that.
Yeah, like I think about it too often, but it will never happen. But if it could, yes.
I love that. Okay, so craziest ant or pet you have right now at like your housing.
I mean, I wouldn't say any of them are too crazy. Maybe my Galapagos, my Scolopendra Galapagos, they're the third largest species of centipede in the world, and he's just a little guy right now still. He's like 6 inches. It's a banded too, the banded variety. Um, but he's like, he's kind of crazy. He's a crazy little man. He's
Okay. And
spontaneous.
what's husbandry care for them? I'm not like a centipede girl, so I have no idea.
I mean, for me, it's pretty cut and dry. I do keep mine with little water dishes. They're all at a point where I can keep them with them. They're not little plings anymore, so that's like no longer an issue, but water dishes. And then like I said, I like to get really elaborate with the setup. So I have like a lot of cork tubes, a lot of different layers to the enclosures. They're to an extent bioactive, but not intentionally. That's more so just after I got them set up the way they were. Springtails and things just kind of find their way in there and set up shop. So to an extent they're bioactive. I don't have live plants or anything like that in with my inverts just because they're not always like exposed to super consistent lighting that would like, keep plants like pretty and healthy in the way I'd want them. But to an extent bioactive, and I mean, other than that, they're really fun centipedes because you can feed them a variety of different things. So like obviously mostly carnivorous, but I'll throw like a little like ring of banana in with mine every now and again, or like a little bit of Pangea crested gecko diet, and they go ham. And I love it. It's so cool to be able to like feed them something maybe that would be outside the norm or what you think they'd typically eat.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
super cool, and that's a nice tip for everybody to learn.
Yes, I mean, I'm not going to say they'll all do it. I've had friends that have been like, mine won't eat fruit, but it's like, I mean, maybe if yours takes it and you find something they like. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool.
I love that you even try different things. It's really cool.
It's so fun. It's like, I don't know. I just like the taking care of things properly and then providing them with as much enrichment as possible, even if it is just an insect, is like, it's so cool. And you get to see all these natural behaviors and these different things you wouldn't maybe typically see. And that's just like, that's a huge part of it for me,
I love that. So when you were in Animal Con, you went herping, right? So how was that?
Yes. Amazing. We drove, I think it was like 2 hours in my friend's car. We all packed up. It was me, this boy Mikey at the time, I think about three other people. And we went out, we found wild veiled chameleons, or like wild veiled chameleons down there. We were able to find, I think it was a Florida rough green snake up in the tree, which was really cool. Catching that was insane. And then other than that, like just giant bugs, just everything down there is giant and it's insane and I love it.
Yeah, Florida was a lot of fun. I mean,
Too much
besides
fun.
warm, but it was a lot of fun.
We
So
made it out okay though.
I know, thank God we got out on time.
Yeah.
So I know a goal that we had set to each other for Animal Con was YouTube. How's that going for you?
It's, I realized I already had a YouTube channel made from back in the day, so I like spruced that up a little bit, but admittedly haven't made any content yet. So that's something I need to get on top of. Instagram, I've definitely been more consistent with this year, and that's been a goal of mine since Animal Con. Is just to take social media more seriously because I saw it as more of a for fun thing before, and now it's like, no, this is, legitimate, and it's very much so a tool.
Yeah, 100%, especially with what you're going to school for and everything like that. So I
Yeah.
love that. Well, we have that goal to meet.
We do. I'll have to work on it. But now it's like it's out in the public, so everyone can hold me accountable.
Hey, But you know what? You sprucing it up, that is a step in the right direction. We're only in January.
Exactly. I have 1 subscriber, so that is, if anything, a start.
I'm definitely going to go look you up and I'll be your second subscriber. And
Amazing.
everybody else that's on here, go subscribe to her channel. What is your
With no, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like talking over you. It's Nicole from the Forest as well. And there's no videos. So if you guys want to go do that, it'll be super inspiring for me.
Yes, everyone go follow her so we can get her motivated to post some content. Because if I tell you guys, her pictures that she posts on Instagram are so gorgeous. I mean, you're gorgeous, period. But
Thank you.
post with
You are
gorgeous
too.
animals. Thank you. So I want to ask you about that. How is it like with
Yes.
posing and everything with the snakes? Like, what are like some tips and tricks you can like maybe give to other fellow keepers, other beautiful girls that want to post with beautiful snakes too?
Um, I mean, it's definitely taking your time with it. I bring my younger sister Jessica with me every time I go to do a photo shoot there because I don't want to interrupt the people that are actually there trying to work. I'm just showing up doing a photo shoot, so I don't want to take away from their time. Um, and it's just being patient with the animals, finding a nice location, and then just having fun with it. Normally, we'll put on music in the background. I'm not filming videos as much, which I definitely need to get better with. But it just, I don't know, you just make it a whole little event and make sure to keep the animal calm. That's a huge thing is people try and force photos in situations, I feel, and it just doesn't look right. Um, so making it fun for everyone.
I love that.
Yeah.
We have a question for you. So it says, "Hey Nicole, could you tell any interesting stories from your time at New England Reptile Distributors?"
Too many. Too many. Let me think. Oh my goodness, this is um let's see. I went there it was probably about 2 weeks ago at this point, and we took out the giant marine toads for a photo shoot, and it was going perfectly. We got a bunch of great photos, and it was like 1 a.m. because I went there after hours to go take photos. So again, I wasn't interrupting anyone. Um, and this toad I'd peed all over the place. It was the most pee I had ever seen come out of a toad. And I know this is like a super weird random story, but it was just like shocking. And I remember calling people there, excuse me, not calling people there, calling people over that were also there to just take in the fact that this toad had just peed so much everywhere. But he was clearly over it. So like I said, you want to make it fun for the animals and for everybody else. So we put the toad away because he was no longer having it. But I don't, and we got photos as he was peeing too, which I like am like contemplating posting because they're funny, but they're also like, I don't know. Uh, and that was everyone got a really solid laugh out of it, and it was fun. And the photos beforehand came out really nice, so it was a good time.
That's so funny. Benny was just doing like a video or photo at Super Show. I don't know if you
Yeah,
can see that. And he was like holding a giant Asian lawn runner and like trying to like take a picture, and then it just like
yeah,
peed all
let loose.
and they
Yep.
caught it on video.
Oh my gosh, good content.
That just
Good
kind of
content.
reminded me of what you're saying. Someone in the comments said to call you Kielbasa. I don't know if I said that right. Kielbasa.
I love them. It's an inside joke from Nerd I'm not going into. It's like an inside joke, but it's also so kielbasa is like our favorite food there when we make dinner. So it's just, I don't know, inside joke.
I love
I
that.
love that they're watching though. That means so much. I love you guys.
Aw, that's so awesome. So like with the team and everything, like how do you feel your support system is in the community?
It's honestly like I never felt like it was lacking. I've always felt super supported and just like everyone's welcomed me with open arms. But after Animal Con especially, it was just like I met so many amazing people and the whole event was so inspiring and I feel like it really just like brought me into the community a little bit more and I felt like I had not just the people from New England Reptile support, but I had obviously I had all these other wonderful people I met and it was just like I don't know. It really like helped to build a little bit more sense of the community in the hobby for me, which I loved. But no complaints.
I love that so much. And it's so important to have support going into this.
Absolutely.
It's such a big but small community. And I think because we're all like putting content out, it's like a good motivator. And it's just nice to like have people that are like your biggest cheerleaders. And maybe they're not even people that are local. I have a lot of like besties that are online, that
Yeah,
are
absolutely. All over the place.
yeah, they're some of my big cheerleaders. So I love that. I love that about you. I mean, Animal Con was definitely a big experience. And what I loved about it, it was just such a different setting from like an expo.
Yes.
Um, and I was a little nervous going into it because this was my first time. I don't know if it was your first time. Was it your first time?
Yeah, I was reached out to by one of the marketing directors a week before, like 7 days before the event itself, and I was like, I'll absolutely go. So I fought relentlessly to make it work, and ended up going and had the best time ever. So I'll definitely be there again next year.
Yeah, it was just so inviting and so like nice to meet other people. And I think like there was other girls there that were also nervous. So it was just kind of nice to like kind of all see each other and connect. And, I definitely made a ton of friends from it. And that's why I really wanted to have you on. Cause I'm like, she's so cool and she does such beautiful pictures. And
You. No, I appreciate it so much, and I definitely want to like try and be more involved in the hobby. I want to go to more expos. That's something I really feel like I've been lacking in, is like going to expos and just being more like social and like more involved and not just living in like a little bug bubble. Um, so that's like this year, that's definitely a goal of mine. But yeah, Animal Con was amazing.
I know, I can't wait. We had someone else in the comments ask if you were to meet an animal in the wild, what animal would you choose for you to meet?
Oh my gosh, that's like stuff. Blah, 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 blah. That's such a tough question, because like that is like what inspires me to keep animals the way I do, is like the thought of getting to see those natural behaviors and just like appreciate how they'd actually act in the wild. So like, um, I don't know. I have a soft spot for green anacondas right now, so I feel like if I was able to see one of them and see it well, and be able to actually observe it while it was still comfortable in a natural setting, that would be just amazing, and not necessarily go out, and not that I have anything against it, but not go out and catch one, but just be able to like watch them and just, I don't know, just appreciate them.
I love that. I love that. They're definitely very pretty,
They're
majestic,
gorgeous.
and definitely have to respect them.
Yeah, for real, for real.
Yeah, I have two here. I have a male and a female, and yeah,
Really, oh my gosh, I love that.
yeah, they're gorgeous. But yeah, I definitely have my moments where I'm like, like,
You're a bit much,
I'm
but
so
no, they're so pretty.
so big, so I'm like, they're kind of heavy too. Like, how do
Yeah.
you do it? You're so like skinny and tiny. Like, how do you carry these big snakes, girl?
I
Not
don't. I have them like draped on my shoulders for a photo, and then I carry them until I'm weighed down, and then that's that. But it's sometimes there's no fighting them. They're just so big. You have to just be like either a massive person or just super, super strong to be able to deal with them. Or maybe not like, you have to be.
yeah.
Um, but it's a huge help. It's a huge help. They're straight muscle.
I agree. Yeah, I mean when like the big snakes come out here and I'm like, "Oh my God, they're like heavy." Like
Yeah, you got it for like 2 minutes, and then you're like, I'm struggling to breathe.
yeah, it definitely is a little bit of weight. And I think like people sometimes like they're like, "Oh, like cuz like they kind of look skinny and they're just long." And I'm like, "No, they have so much strength and so much weight."
For
Like
real. And I like, don't quote me on this, I might be wrong. I thought I heard that muscle is denser than fat, and snakes tend to be more so muscle. So it's just, even like you said, if they don't look like they're gonna weigh a lot, they weigh an absolute ton. And it's just, I don't know. Good
yeah.
for them.
So have you been privy to like any like breeding projects and like seen anything like hatch like
Um, Not so much hatch in the moment, like I'm there for it, but being a nerd so much, I definitely get to see a lot of super fresh babies, and baby monitors are some of my favorite, just because they're so like perfect and precious when they're fresh out the egg. Other than that, green anacondas when they first hatch out are amazing. They're like just super full of like spice, but they're so little too. It's like you can't blame them for it, but like I don't know, I can't stay away. They're so cute.
yeah, no, I love We have little baby black dragons that
Oh my
hatched out not
gosh.
too long ago here too. And
Yes.
I wish they stayed this small and perfect and cute.
I know. I think that about like everything. And it's like, I don't know. Not that I don't like them as adults or anything like that, but like, ugh, especially Cuvier's dwarf came in. If I could just get like a little baby, just like a permanent forever baby, it'd be perfect.
It'd be so cute.
It'd be perfect.
I know. I love the big ones too, but I'm like, they're just so cute and innocent. Like,
Oh,
and
the little tiny
tiny.
nose. Yeah.
Not like my shoulder, my head, just like
I
hanging
know.
out in my pocket before.
Just bring it with you everywhere. Emotional support came in.
So Renee is bugging me to ask you what you think about six-eyed sand spiders.
That's like, honestly, I was like watching your guys' podcast before I appeared here while I was doing my makeup, and he brought them up, and I'm like, that's another one I'm like always I feel like forgetting about, but is like such a standout cool species. I see them at expos pretty regularly. I'm slightly intimidated, but I don't know. It'll happen soon. It'll happen soon.
So Renee's so hung up on this question because he just got one not too long ago.
Yep.
And he was like so excited, so thrilled. And I'm like, I see those at my expos all the time.
Yeah.
So he's
One of
like,
those things. I feel like I didn't see them too a little bit more recently. Like or maybe they just stood out to me a little bit more. But I saw them and was like, but then never ended up,
they're
going with it.
cool. They're cool. And I definitely told him he should do like a pimp out enclosure for it because it'd be so cool because they do
Absolutely.
little,
The little their behaviors. That's yes, like the little things they do. So cute.
Okay, so we have a question. It says, can you tell any weird or not weird experiences with spiders? I did sleep in a room full of wolf spiders here in Mexico. Got a bite on my hand, but nothing bad, just itchy, but they were big as ASF.
That's like a perfect question, and it's so funny that's brought up because I was thinking about it beforehand as well. When I first moved onto campus, outside my window, there were, and I don't know what species they were, what kind of spiders there were hundreds of what looked like false widows hanging outside my window. And I was very new on campus, so I didn't want to be weird and go and ask people, but I was so tempted to go and like knock on my neighbors' doors and be like, do you guys also have like literally hundreds of various sized spiders outside your window? And I just like it, they appeared, they hung out for a few days, and then they disappeared. And I remember like sending my friends videos and pictures, and eventually, because like this was during the summertime, so my window was open a lot, they started to find their way into my room. And then for a while there was like a small population of them like in here, which I didn't care about, but it was just like, where did they come from? Why did they come in such numbers? And then why did they leave so quickly? Like, where did they go? But it was, I don't know, just an experience.
I love that people are watching from Mexico. Hola,
Oh my gosh. Who's watching from Mexico?
Reptiles from Hell is watching from Mexico.
Oh
So-
my gosh. I love that. Hi.
It's weird for me. I don't think it's weird for me, but weird for normal people. So it's my beautiful dogs that you guys hear
Oh
in the
my
background.
god.
Joy. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I just had a like helicopter fly overhead, and I wasn't sure if I should acknowledge it or not. So that's fun.
It's my dogs. I think they hear someone outside. I have two huge corsos, so they're like
Oh yeah.
horses. Hola,
Well
Pablo.
protected.
Pablo was actually in Animal Con, and he went and he wanted to meet Rolly. So I don't know if you got a chance to meet Rolly.
I did.
I love him. He's like my
He's amazing.
friend from Animal Con. I talk to him all the time. So, hola, Pablo. I'm so happy que estás aquí. Ojalá
Hi,
que
Pablo.
tener todo. But yes, so back to the spider story. I have a nursery because I breed jumping spiders. And so sometimes there's so many that they'll get out sometimes and I don't notice. So like I'll literally have jumping spiders like on my ceiling, little hammocks and stuff. And
Just
so
living.
I had people come over and they're like, you have like little spiders like living up here, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, they're jumpers probably from my nursery. I'm like, it's okay, they eat all the bugs.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. They're hanging out.
and I'm like, oh, it's cool. We're building a little colony here.
Exactly. That's so cute. I can totally see that too. Just like the ceiling, the corner lined with like little itty bitty dots.
Little hammocks everywhere. It's like the funniest thing. Or like sometimes I'll see them like I work from home, and sometimes I have to go to the office. Most of the time it's from home.
Yeah.
So I'll like literally see them come down, like when I'm feeding, or like they know like where the food is.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. Jumping spiders, I feel like, are just, I don't know. There's like a different like level of intelligence, it seems, to them, and maybe it's me like personifying them a little bit too much, but I just, when you look at them and you see how they soak in the world around them, there's just something like very different about it, and it's so cool.
Definitely. I mean, there's definitely been studies done on them. They're definitely have a lot more going on than people give them credit for. I definitely love to say that they're people watchers. Very
Oh
nosy.
my gosh.
But definitely have a lot going on, and I interact with mine a lot. You know, it depends on the spider. Um, but it you know, it depends on the spider, but like most of the times, like the ones that are super friendly, like they'll do the gym for me. They'll do a bunch of different variation of things. Like they'll watch, they'll hang out, like they know to like where they're going. Um,
Absolutely.
you definitely see some form of intelligence there. And so I kind of love that like all these movies and documentaries are coming out, because you get to see them in their natural habitat and just like learn a little bit about them. And with that comes respect for the animal. So it's nice. And with jumping spiders, I feel like it's definitely the spider to like break people into the spider world, you know.
Absolutely.
They're a little bit easier. So like I've had people that like were super scared of spiders before you get a jumper, and then they're like tiptoeing into the tarantula world, and then it's like
Yep.
tarantulas later.
Absolutely. No, and that's funny you say that too, because there was a lot of people that would come into zoo creatures that like super into it, jumping spider keepers, but if you brought anything else up, they weren't necessarily opposed to it, but it was something they were working their way towards. And I think it's great that they're like a, you know, just a great little, like you said, getting your feet wet when it comes to inverts and spiders specifically.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. What was your first spider?
Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure it was a curly hair, a big female curly hair I had bought at the Manchester Reptile Expo when I was like probably like 16. And the guy went to open the deli cup to show her to me, and she sprinted up his arm and like onto his back, and it was just like a whole event. And I don't know, I thought it was super cool, and I ended up buying her specifically. And she got massive. I had her for quite a while, and I actually ended up giving her to, it was a friend that was getting into inverts at the time, and I was starting to like, you know, draw back on it a little bit, but they pull you back in.
They do. I'm like a sucker for a spider. Like I don't think I ever go to an expo and not get like a new spider, even if it's something I already have. I'm like, oh, I like this one.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's like the nice thing about them too, like inverts, is you can, I don't know, I like to, like I said, do really intricate enclosures, but with bugs obviously being smaller, they're just a little easier to contain, and it's, I just feel like it's a little bit more doable for most people, even if they don't realize it or they don't like appreciate it just yet. Like they're perfect pets. They're great.
They really are, especially like if you're traveling, you have a lot more going on. They're a little bit lower maintenance
Absolutely, yep.
as opposed to a reptile. It's definitely a lot easier for me, and like I'm more relaxed when I go on vacation, when I'm thinking about like my spiders versus like my reptiles or like my dogs. Like
Yep.
that's like handing off my like children to be like, it takes forever to find babysitters for the
For
course.
real. It's tough. It's like it's, and I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of people that get into pet sitting that don't realize how much that goes into it. I've left my sisters with you know, reptiles and fish tanks and stuff to take care of while I was away in the past, and I don't even think it's that complicated, but then I end up leaving them with like this giant to-do list to do, and it seems like, I don't know, it's really easy for me, but then to explain it to somebody else in the moment or to learn it that quickly is just, I don't know. It's hard to trust people with your animals, I think is what I'm trying to get at.
100%. I mean, it is very tough. I can wholeheartedly agree with that. I have a zoo, so with the zoo, it's just like it's a lot. I mean, I still think it's easier than like my like everyday like dog pets, you know.
Yeah.
But it is a lot because like you're very specific. Like lights automatically go on at this time. These go off at this time. Please make sure you're misting this, this, and this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, don't worry about my spiders because I already put water bowls in there, and fed them, so don't worry. So it's mainly for like the geckos and like stuff that needs everyday care, like the tortoises, the turtles, the fishes.
Absolutely. And then I feel like people are sometimes thrown or confused by how easy they are to take care of. Like you'll be like, don't worry about this, this, and this. And they're like, what do you mean don't worry about
Yeah,
this whole portion of the room? So it's, I don't know.
it definitely is interesting. So you
It
mentioned you
is.
were also in aquatics too before. What were you keeping before?
I did like a little bit of everything when I was keeping fish. So it was tough. I was a lot younger at the time, so it was like not massive aquariums. I couldn't keep any like monster fish or anything that got giant, but I loved to again, I loved setting up the fish tanks and making them as natural as possible. So like live plants were always involved. And then just the active cycling fish tanks I think is really interesting too. I feel like the aquatics people were kind of keeping things bioactively before reptile people realized maybe what that was. I don't want to speak for anyone or like, I don't know. I just feel like aquatics were doing it first. Like specifically what I kept, um I started off with guppies. I thought I was going to be like the world's best guppy breeder, and then that didn't work out. And I started keeping different cichlids. I love South American cichlids. I did breed ram's horns, or I'm sorry, excuse me, German blue rams. And that was really, really cool to do and see. And other than that, just a little bit of everything. It just, whatever I could keep that could be kept within the size aquariums I was working with.
I love that. Yeah, because I feel like sometimes people, when they get into aquatics, they don't realize how big some of the fish they're getting are going to get.
Yeah. Yep.
It is. I got into aquatics last year, and yeah, I have like I just actually I have to post a video, but I got piranhas.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Yeah, I got piranhas. I have like arowanas.
Yep.
And arapaima. So it's like all big fish that eventually I'm gonna have to have a pond for.
Yeah, that's amazing though. Yeah, I was not at that level. It was lots of just like your neon tetras. Like I said, I loved the German blue rams. I had a little saltwater system going for a while with some like basic soft corals, which was really fun. But like I said, I got out of fish and then hopped into reptiles and just like wanted to keep everything.
Isn't that weird how you like start with something and then you just whole new world?
Yeah, it just opens everything up for you. And I still love aquatics. I still like love everything equally. It's just I'm like overwhelmed by it and I want to work with everything too. So it's, what can you do?
It's hard. Aquatics, like I think it's like a whole other world and it's another ball game. For me, like I just stick with freshwater because I feel like saltwater would just be like a little bit more than like I could take on right now.
Yeah, I mean it's like I feel like it's just a take things slow kind of thing with salt water. I don't know. Was I I was 16 and I had like a little 10-gallon nano reef going, and I like to say like if I could do it at that age, doing things the way I was, because I'm sure looking back, if I could see exactly how I'd set the tank up and like how I was doing things after that, I'd have like a lot of critiques and criticisms. But if I could do it at that age with what I had available to me, like anybody can do it. And it's so cool. Like the saltwater systems are, I find like even more, I don't want to say bioactive, but I don't know how else to explain it. When you look at a saltwater tank and you look at even just the substrate layer, you can see so much like microscopic life moving around, all these little shrimps, all these little bugs. You got your little like cleanup crew members you throw in there. So like your hermit crabs and your snails and stuff. It's just like it's so much to soak in and it's just so interesting to see. It's like just a whole little world. It's a whole little environment. And I could like rant about it forever, but it's fine.
100%. It's very interesting to just sit there and watch. Like I never thought I was gonna be like one of those like old people that are like just sitting there watching their tank. And I have slowly turned into
Oh yeah.
one of those. I mean,
see a fish you haven't seen in a while come out of the leaves, and it's like, look.
Yeah, there you are. I have an eel that, like, I swear to God, I never see him. Like,
That's how they be.
but it's kind of the same thing with snakes and like spiders too. So, like my tarantulas, I swear when I'm doing late feedings, I get so excited because that's when I see my tarantulas the most. Like my cobalt blue, I swear to God, anytime I get a sighting, I'm like, ah, paparazzi. And they're like, yes, hello, sexy baby.
Absolutely. I feel like it like makes them more of a treat. I don't know, especially if you're not like forcing it or handling or anything like that. Just to see them like come out on their own, it's like, little man, what's up? And then, you know, I don't know, it's just a little treat.
It's definitely very interesting. I mean, I love tarantulas. Like I said, Benny just asked if we have any experience with any bird eaters. So I actually just got the burgundy bird eater this weekend. How about you? Do you have any experience with them?
Limited from what I worked with at Zoo Creatures, but while I was there, I feel like we didn't have a lot of bird eaters in stock. But yeah, limited if anything. But they're super, super cool. I love that, just how massive they get, just wicked impressive.
They get huge. And like, I don't think a lot of people notice, but like they do a lot of like intricate webbing too. We had, so like at the reptile shop, I don't know if you guys probably get it, but we get it. A lot of people will come and surrender animals to us, like reptiles and, you know, tarantulas, things like that. So we had someone drop off. I forget how old it was, but it was an older bird eater. And they were like, we've never really done anything with the enclosure besides like obviously feed and, you know, water. And it had like some of the most beautiful webbing I've ever seen. And it kind of just like inspired me to get one. And I'm kind of like, I'm working on doing like my GBB's new enclosure and
Absolutely.
like, you know, because I want to see that webbing. I had Logan on the podcast. I think it was the last podcast I did.
Yep.
And he has like the curtain spiders. So I'm like, now I want one because of the webbing. Like, so it's like these weird things that like kind of get me to be like, oh, like this is kind of what I'm looking for with my tarantulas now.
Absolutely. And getting to see the different like variety of behaviors when it comes to them, even though they're also like what some people might consider similar, it's super, super cool. Like the T. Celedonia and their little trapdoors, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so cute.
It's so cute. And it's such a beautiful spider, but you don't get to see it often.
Yeah.
Same thing with like the Belfori. I'm so like interested in building a
Oh my
Belfori
gosh.
community, and I'm like so excited for that. I have a few like that are not together yet. So I want to build a big enough enclosure so I can have that community going. But like even seeing their like tunneling system,
Oh yeah,
I pictured like a little maze down there.
for real. They
Yeah.
definitely make their own little world out of the enclosure, and I enjoy that too, is seeing what they set up for themselves using what you've given them, excuse me.
Yeah, and it's like interesting too. And like it's like I go in there and I'll like do more leaf litter every time I can, throw in little things and they use it. I've recently started throwing in like little small tennis balls in for some of my terrestrial tarantulas, and it's funny because you like literally see them like moving the ball
Oh
around.
my gosh, that's so cute.
It's weird behaviors that you notice. You're like, this is kind of funny and cute.
What is that? I love that.
Anyone
Just
watch
rearranging things.
it's a little like, or what are they like, the ping pong balls?
Yeah, like a little like the like table tennis balls or
What you play with what is that beer game
oh
called?
beer pong.
Oh yeah, so a
I know
little
what I'm doing.
they literally will sit there and move it around, which it kind of makes sense too,
Gosh.
because like for example, my curly hair Credence, I swear to God, I like fix his enclosure all the time and he like will spend a whole, like I'll literally see him walk over with some dirt and like move it to the
And
other
just place it somewhere. Like
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 little
he owns the place.
yep. All the time I'm like, dude, you're literally always
It's
rearranging.
fine. I didn't just fix that. I know. It's so tough. You try and fight it to an extent and then you just give up and you're like, do what you want with the place, kid. Like
Along with the plays, yeah, 100%. But it is very interesting. I just tried with my tortoise the other day. I have some baby tortoises. But what is it, like the hamster wheel or whatever?
oh wow.
I like put my tortoise in it and they literally will like walk on it and just walk on it for like a while.
Forever. I
Yeah,
love that.
much like a piece of lettuce in it because it has like a cork thing on one of the plastic ones. It's like wood and then cork inside.
Yep.
And it's like it's funny because it'll like literally kind of like just chase it. Like so
Keeping him motivated.
yeah, kind of a little bit of enrichment, you know, like so it's
Absolutely.
bored and you know, because like in the wild, like they'd be running into all different types of scenarios, things like that. So I try to like
shake it up for them. No, I love that. And I feel like tortoises are super, super personable too. Or I don't know, that's maybe I think that about everything, but just looking at them and the way they act, it just so much personality.
They are. I love them. I love turtles. Like, I love all that stuff.
Yeah. What kind of tortoises do you have?
So I have sulcatas. I have some like albino sulcatas that I just got that were some babies. Because the goal is to live on land and farm and, so that's why I'm like, I'm okay with getting multiple sulcatas.
Absolutely. You're prepared.
I'm prepared. So I have that. And then like turtles, like I have some terrapins. I have snapping turtles. I mean, I have a little bit of a zoo. I just got my Patagonian Mara last Texas show.
Wow.
So it's like the weirdest collection of, I wouldn't say collection, they're my pets. I hate saying collection, but like it's like the weirdest of little gathering of my.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a little family you build. I know I always catch myself saying collection, and it's like I don't know. It is, but it isn't. I don't know. I like very individualized care, and like I know all my bugs, and it's like, I could list them all off, but every now and again I call it a collection.
Yeah, it's like a little gathering of.
Yeah, it's a social event.
Yeah, so
they're my roommates.
They're my babies.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you have any questions for me? Do you have any questions for?
Oh, I mean, oh my gosh. What keeps you motivated when it comes to social media and just the events and the community and being involved? What inspires you most?
Honestly, the people. The people and the animals, obviously. I think that's for everyone. But I think like I've built so many friendships and met so many people that I normally would have never met outside of like the community that we're all in, because we all are so passionate and like love this hobby. But like seeing all the different content, like as far as like the animals go, like I feel like it's very educational and like it makes me feel good too, seeing like all these different animals that maybe like I had never thought of keeping before. And I'm like, maybe like if I ever see it, like I would want to take care of this. And basically then I go on like a whole education of like proper care, things like that. But like that's kind of what keeps me going. And I like having individual care for all of mine, and I spend a lot of time socializing with my animals.
Yes.
So like I'm hoping that I'll get better at my content, but a lot of the times why I'm not putting out content is because I'm spending so much time with my animals and husbandry care. So I mean, they keep me going, they keep me motivated, and seeing everybody else post and like getting to see all these animals, and they've inspired me to like have this as a pet. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to inspire like other people and future generations to like love and care about these animals and want to preserve them. Preservation is like a big thing for me, and conservation.
Totally. Yes.
Especially with the way the world is kind of going now, like a lot of like natural environments are being torn down for animals, things like that, or a lot of things are like, I'm hoping for more captive breeding because a lot of things are wild caught, which obviously I know we need some wild caught animals in order to keep and breed and like keep those projects and like so nothing goes extinct. But I'm just, I don't know.
No, I agree completely. I think that's a really big thing we've made progressions, but just like when it comes to saltwater fish specifically, I feel like the vast majority are pulled from the wild, and I struggle because you need like those fish that are being pulled are inspiring somebody else to get into the hobby and to want to take care of these animals properly and to possibly want to breed them and create captive bred populations in the future. So it's like, you have to give a little to get a little, but I'd like to see the same thing just like all around, more so like more captive breeding efforts, and then more like responsible breeding too. People being aware of how much they're producing and how much is actually available and what the public actually needs. I think that's super important.
I actually love that you said that, because it is a big thing. And I think being in the hobby, that's something as vendors and breeders we have to be responsible for and keep in mind. So I love that you made that point, because it is very true. Responsible breeding is a big thing and something we should all keep in mind, because at the end of the day, the ones who suffer the most are the animals, and we're not responsible with it. So I love to see us hold each other a little bit more accountable and, you know, remember that at the end of the day, these are lives.
Absolutely. No, I agree completely with that.
Yeah, it's so I love that you said, see, I knew it. I knew having
Thank you so much for this.
I was so excited to have you on, I'm telling you. And I was so excited to catch up. And I love all of your content. And I just want to tell you, you know, keep going, keep growing, keep glowing. You definitely motivate other girls in the hobby. I mean, I definitely take some inspiration from you, especially when I see your posts. I'm like, girl,
thank you so much, Jess.
So
so much.
Thanks for being a beautiful girl in the hobby, and like inside and out. And I mean that seriously, because it's not every day that you get to find someone that's so friendly and so opening and warm. So please keep, you know, posting your content, and thanks for coming on. And if you ever need anything, you know, reach me. And now everyone on the YouTube that was watching gets to hold you accountable for YouTube and getting your content out there, because
yes, I'm sure I have more than one subscriber by now, so I'll definitely make sure I'm on top of that.
And if you guys want to find Nicole, she is on Instagram, so Nicole From the Forest, and her YouTube that we're all going to subscribe to, and she will eventually put some content on there.
Yes, it's going to happen. It'll be good. It'll be good.
It'll be Nicole From the Forest as well.
All right.
All right. Well, have a good one. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was awesome getting to meet you, and I loved meeting you at Animal Con. You literally were one of the first people I really connected with, and I'm just so glad we got to, like, you know, I don't know, help each other out and be there, and just super awesome. Thank you so much, Jess.
Yeah, no problem. So I'll see you guys, and thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and let us know what else you want to hear. If you guys have any other questions for Nicole, you can definitely follow her on Instagram.
Yes, always available. I work with zoo creatures and nerd pretty closely, so if you guys have any questions about what I post, the animals that are there, you can always reach out. I'm almost always available.
All right, guys. Well, have a good night, everyone.
All right, have an awesome night, guys.
Webbed up with the truth, yeah, the Molt's on deck. Knowledge web spun when the facts connect. Crawling through the dark where the secrets collect. Chatting spiders on the mic, what did you expect? The Molt, welcome to the Molt. The Molt, welcome to the Molt.